Well, hello everybody. Welcome to this lovely weekend of a virtual model railway exhibition. Obviously taking over from the fact that at the moment there aren't any real exhibitions, but a gentleman who we see at so many exhibitions is known by so many in the trade and is probably one of the most recognised people in the industry. My pleasure this morning to welcome to the interview room Marketing Manager for Hornby, Mr. Simon Kohler. Good morning, Simon.
Morning, Lawrence. How are you?
I'm fine and well, sir. How is everybody in the Hornby family at the moment?
Well, we from the end of March, like a lot of people, we shut the offices. We furloughed a few people, not too many people. Normally, in the retail outlets, we have, but most people picked up their laptops and worked from home, which is what we have been doing. 2 weeks ago, having sort of restructured the offices, put lots of hand sanitizer everywhere. You can't walk anywhere without the hand sanitizer being there. The 2-meter rules, desks separated, boards, etc. Really above and beyond sort of the recommendations. We put all that in place. So we opened it up because not everybody is comfortable working from home. So we opened it up 2 weeks ago. I went back 2 weeks ago, and yeah, it's not full of people yet. But as I say, it's full of people who have difficulty working from home. So we have a mix of both. But yeah, normality, whatever that is, will hopefully move on, and we'll get somewhere near it. But what I can say, and I'm sure I speak for a lot of people who've been working from home, is that you seem to get a lot more done. I certainly did, and I know a lot of my colleagues did, and I know from the design teams, they've been able to sort of focus. They do miss the camaraderie, they do miss the talking to the engineer, what about this and what about that, etc. But we have Teams system, and it is just a quick question of pressing a button, speaking to whoever, getting the answer, and then moving on. But yeah, it's been an interesting experience, but I don't believe we're on our own on that one.
Well, obviously it was going to be a special year for Hornby because you were celebrating actually your centenary of producing model trains.
Yes.
I was amazed when I saw the catalogue this year because it is absolutely rammed with special editions, wonderful product, and that is all still coming through. So I think you've had a good start to what was due to be a very, very special year for you. Were you very, very pleased with that catalogue?
Very pleased. Yeah, actually, really over the moon. Look, 100 years doesn't come around every year. No. As you know. So I wanted the range to be special. I wanted the range to celebrate Hornby and really what it means to a lot of people. I wanted the catalogue to be special. I didn't just want it to be full of limited editions. I wanted to show where we're going, the developments we're doing and so on. So it is the biggest catalogue we've ever done in number of pages. It won't be as thick as that next year because I won't have that first half a dozen pages full of 100-year product. But, yeah, overall, really, really very pleased with the way it was received, the catalogue was received, the products received. It's been very, very gratifying. And I think the team at Hornby have been equally pleased with the reception that the range has had and people's reaction with regards to the company celebrating 100 years.
Well, we're very, very delighted that you're around for 100 years.
Not me personally. I mean, give us a break.
No, but I do understand.
that.
I do understand that it may be getting close to your half century in the industry.
Yeah. Well, very actually, you're right. I mean, full time. I entered the model shop in Northampton when I nearly gave an age then, in 71. So if you like, next year will be 50 years in the industry. Yep. I was at the model shop for about 7 years, and then sort of joined the Hornby family via Hammond Morgan in 1978. So yeah, it's funny how the years do fly by. I had to renew my driving license yesterday, and that is a bit of a sobering thing, actually. But there we are.
There's a slight clue for those of us that know the technicalities. Now, the centenary editions have been incredibly well received, and they're not all just the rework of the original model, are they? I mean,
No.
Stephenson's rocket, I understand, is completely redone.
Oh yes. Well, there was no way that I would use the old tooling for the rocket. The two reasons for that. One, the last time it was produced, must be getting on for nearly 20 years ago, every model had to be what we would call knife and fork together. I mean, every one was different. So the running characteristics all had to be tweaked and changed. There was no way. And number two, of course, the tooling was thrown away by our previous people. So it was always really, I'm not going to say a dream, but, a desire that, the rocket is such a iconic, truly iconic. And, wouldn't it be great to bring it up to 21st century standards? Presented, we placed the order, I've got to remember, where are we now? 2020. Placed the order in 2018, the tooling order. The design was very tricky because we obviously, the previous rocket really wasn't to scale. I mean, it was bigger than 00. Because of limitations of that time. Now we've got smaller motors, etc. We were able to really condense it down to true 00 scale, or as close as you can get. And with the motor and the pickups and all the rest of it, lots of engineering. The designer is top class. It caused him a few headaches, but he got there. We were able to, where the coach is concerned, add in etched brass, etc. So the detail on it is terrific. So yeah, really, really pleased with that model. Really pleased, and the reaction and reception it obtained was terrific. Yeah, really good.
We've seen one on the test tracks before lockdown, and it really was an impressive thing. I think the other group of people who got really excited with this year's catalogue were my many friends who model LNER, because they have got not one, not two, but three brand new locomotives to look forward to. That's quite a collection for 1 year, for one particular railway.
Yeah, sometimes it does go like that, and invariably when these things get announced, there's always somebody say, well, there's nothing there for me. I didn't obviously get that from those folks who were keen on the LNER, but the locos chosen again have been those locos that I've really wanted to do. I think the whole family of those large Pacifics, etc., was missing these vital evolutions, if you like, or experimentals and stories. There's always a story. The W1 has a great story, etc. So I mean, it was it was just one of those things I just wanted to do, and again, team on board, and we're cracking on with it. So you should start to see decorated samples of sort of the A22s and 3s fairly soon, and the W1 probably start seeing that probably September time.
That's fantastic.
Start seeing we've had shots of the tool. It will be a question of seeing decorated samples.
Yeah. Well, we know you're getting the product right because
a gap between them. Sorry, go on.
I said we know you're getting the product right because this year you were awarded Manufacturer of the Year for 00 modeling.
And that was really, it was really so very kind of everybody. I mean, it was, I know everybody says whatever awards are given, etc. We don't expect these things. We don't think let's do this model because I reckon we can get model of the year. It doesn't work like that. What we see when we receive these awards is really a recognition of what we've done and what we're trying to do. We'll never ever get it dead right. There'll always be something that people will find fault with or whatever. We just try and just do our very best. And I honestly know that's the same with all the other manufacturers. Yeah. I've always said this: nobody ever sets out to produce a model that's wrong. They don't. Nobody sets out deliberately to produce a bogie with 7 spokes when it should have 8. Nobody did that deliberately, and that's one of the things that haunts me. We had that some time ago with a particular loco. But, we do our best. And so when we do get these awards, they're really gratefully received. And it's an appreciation. And it's really nice.
And then the cherry on the cake has got to be the Peckett winning model of the decade.
Absolutely. Yes. I mean, that again, the Peckett is one of those locos that's just so full of character, so full of detail. And it's always been one that's difficult to be keep in stock. We never quite get the numbers right there. But I think it's if I was to use a vernacular, it's a cheeky chappy, isn't it? People just love the diminutive size of it and the detail, really. Oh, what we got here?
This has got to be my favourite set of the year, and this was the second Huntley and Palmer set. To put it together with the 3 wagons in this wonderful box. It is a statement piece, and it's one that I treasure.
Brilliant. No, again, that was something that came out of a conversation, came from the engineer who masterminded the development of the Peckett, and it sort of grew from there. So, credit where credit's due. Everybody gets involved at Hornby, which is what I like. May not have been the same some years ago, but now with the whole philosophy of the company, it's a very collegiate operation.
Well, that's brilliant. And I think we've seen that in the fact that having produced the catalogue, lockdown has allowed you to do other individual things. I think the one that stood out for me was the Class 66 to celebrate the fantastic achievement of Captain Moore. And I think that was going to start at a limited edition of 500. What's the final situation, Simon?
Yeah, well, that just goes to show, and I said this yesterday, the longer I'm in this business, the less I seem to know. Obviously, we were all captivated by Captain Moore, or some more now. What happened? I'll tell you what happened. I had an email late at night from James Trains and says, "What about this loco?" And normally I'm pretty on the ball with what's coming out of GB, and I for some reason I'd missed it or whatever. And that's a nice one. And we the next morning was able to get the artwork. Decided that wouldn't it be great if we could just produce a small quantity, limited edition certificate. The money can go straight to the NHS charities. And that ran through. The artwork was done. The packaging was followed. We spoke to our people over in the Far East. They said they can adjust things and so on. They got on board. They'd heard of what Captain Moore was doing. It's international what he's done. So they knew all about it. They got on board. So we cracked on, and then we announced it. I think we announced it on Thursday late afternoon, and I'd said, "Look, tell you, we'll do 500." Oh, do you reckon? Do you think we can do that? I think we should be all right with 500. Well, literally within less than an hour, the 500 had gone. And I got, texts, what should we do? I said, I know we've said limited 500, but let's make it 1,000. We'll do 1,000. No, that'll be enough. That'll be enough. Well, of course, everybody knows that within 24 hours, that number had gone to 3,500, and that generated 140,000 for £1,000 for the NHS charities, which is terrific. And believe me, we have a waiting list of people. Anybody who cancels, we got a waiting list. So it was terrific, and it's terrific that, you know, people who weren't necessarily involved in model railways wanted a model. I had a phone call on the Friday from an elderly aunt, honorary aunt, and said, so I suppose you're wondering why I'm calling you. Well, I haven't answered Christine, actually. Why? And she said, could you get me one of those locos, please? Because apparently they're sold out. Well, luckily I'd reserved a few, and I said, yeah, I'll get you one of those, Christine. And she said, well, who do I make the check payable to? So, well, we can sort that out, because I'm thinking, God, this is going to get a bit complicated now. So I'll probably have to pay for it myself and have done with it. But that's sort of thing. People were getting involved, not interested in model rail, but just because of Captain Moore, and it's something that people want. We got inquiries from all over the world for it, and it was amazing. But it's just part of what Captain Moore generated, that passion, that interest. But we're really, really pleased with it. Really pleased.
Is one going to Captain Moore?
Yes. It certainly will. And I mean, the guy has had to get some form of agent, because, I mean, he must be bombarded with all these things. But yeah, I've already said he will get one without question.
Well, Simon, on behalf of the hobby, well done for producing something that's obviously sold so well and produced such an amazing sum of money for NHS charities. Now, the other thing I noticed, as I keep tabs on you through Twitter, was you then thought about families in lockdown, and along came the family hamper.
Yeah, when we closed the offices and people started working from home, it became pretty obvious, because obviously we have people who have families and so on. It was obviously, from looking at the news and everything, that there is only so much daytime television that people can watch, and you know they were going doolally, and so, you know, children at home, etc. So one of the first things we did was create this kids zone where we had little competitions, painting competitions, etc., and submit, you know, offer prizes, etc. Just trying to keep the children amused. And we didn't just do that for Hornby, we did Scale Electric, Airfix, and so on, and Corgi. And but from the Hornby side of life, as you remember, we did do the Family Fun project.
Yes.
So we thought, well, what we can do, because we are slightly limited on getting these things sorted, what we'll do is we'll do the Hornby hamper, which was something very similar to Family Fun project, put tracking, etc. So people can build a model railway layout as a family thing. So it keeps them amused. And the reaction for that was incredibly positive. And again, not just from people who are established modelers or whatever. These were people who, in some way, probably stumbled across the Hornby site. Let's have a go. And it was done really as an entertainment and to keep people amused. The Family Fun project was really to get people into model railways. This was to keep people amused. There was no really alternate reason for doing it other than keeping people happy and hopefully sane. But it does seem to have kicked off an interest again, which is great for the hobby. It's people who know me know I'm passionate to getting more and more people into the hobby, getting the youngsters in to the hobby. It's all very well doing these W1s, etc., and so on, but we need to get the youngsters in playing trains, and then that's your grassroots. And then, although they may move on to what we used to call motorbikes and girlfriends, they'll come back to it, one way and another, one hopes. So that's really what it was about. So yeah, it's been very positive. Let's put it that way. And I'm pleased. I really am pleased. So we need to get youth into this hobby of ours, because none of us are getting any younger.
No, it is a concern, but we also know the hobby's looking a little bit different for the rest of the year. I doubt if we'll see many railway exhibitions before 2021. And I saw the announcement in the last few days that Hornby has said no exhibitions this year. Right. So what are the remaining plans for 2020?
Right.
And are you going to be able to top what you've done this year in 2021?
Right. Okay. Well, let me answer the last question first. I never say what we're going to do.
No.
External for the year. So it will be a question of wait and see. With regards to exhibitions and so on, as we were saying earlier, we don't know enough about this virus, etc. What I do know is that the key people who can get affected with it are people of a certain age. A lot of these people go to the exhibitions. I also have a duty of care for people who go to the exhibition. Now, nobody, the team people see at these exhibitions, the Hornby team is here for, they're not dragged there kicking and screaming. They want to go. They enjoy going. Even though I'm there, I might irritate them a bit, but they love it. They enjoy meeting people, etc. Because that's what we do, And I think we've all missed that. We have missed that, talking directly with people, because that's where we get the ideas, where we see where we're going wrong, etc. Not always what we're doing right. So it was a decision, duty of care, etc. We won't attend any shows, and really, that's what I think most people who run these shows realise. You can't limit people going into an exhibition. It's not like going to Tesco's or whatever, is it? Where you queue and people go in, do the shopping, come out. You won't get there with a railway exhibition. They'll have to restrict the numbers. You restrict the numbers, you restrict the revenue. They can't afford it. They will end the loss. So they have to cut the losses. So I fully endorse what they're doing. One, for safety, and two, for pure economics.
Yeah.
Disappointing from our perspective and from modelers' perspective, but a wise and sensible precaution. So how has that affected us? Well, as I've said, we're not meeting people, which we do, we like to, and we get feedback. And we also get feedback on what we should be doing, the questionnaires, etc. So we've had to adjust things slightly. Social media, people will have seen, has increased quite a lot.
Yep.
So we're working hard on that, and getting the feedback there, and really trying to. We can't meet people at shows. We'll meet you on social media. So if you're not on any of the Hornby websites or the Instagrams, Facebooks, Twitters, etc., then do and be part of it, and just talk to us, and as I say, tell us what we should be doing, what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong. Communicate, because that's what we love to do. That's what we're here for.
Simon, it's been a fascinating chat. I'm sorry I'm not seeing you in the flesh, because it's always a pleasure. I hope that we'll meet properly in 2021. But until then, Simon, our very best to all of you at Hornby. Stay safe, stay well, and no doubt we'll see you soon.
Fabulous. And have a good show. Virtual, that is. Have a really good virtual show. Okay. Thanks very much.